If you are somebody who loves the idea of living in Redding, you don't mind the warmer summers, but every now and then you just need a quick escape to cool off, well, this episode of Rooted in Redding is for you. Just about an hour north sits a cluster of mountain towns where the temps are cooler, the waterfalls are flowing, and there's definitely that sense of small town charm at its next level. Today, we're headed to McCloud, so lace up those hiking shoes and let's go explore what McCloud has to offer, especially during the summertime. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Rooted in Redding. I'm Faith Barrett, your local guide to everything here in our area. If you are new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video as we share weekly content about Redding and the housing market as a whole. If you are new to our area, a lot of people comment on the weather. You know, we have beautiful seasons all year round, but summer can sometimes be a little bit brutal with the heat. Redding can get up to the 110s in the month of July, August, and sometimes even September. And if you're not accustomed to that, it can be really brutal. Now, if you love Redding and you're like, I want to move here, but how do I escape the heat? Well, this episode is for you as we are going to be exploring a mountain town called McCloud that is about 1 hour north of Redding. And we're going to be talking about the things that you can do there, from hiking to food, to the charm, to the history, everything that you need to know. So whether you're looking for a day trip or a weekend getaway, this could be your solution. So let's go explore. All right, guys, so we are at the McCloud Waterfalls. And to be honest with you, this is my very first time doing this hike. But what I've heard is that you have the lower falls, the middle falls, and then the upper falls. It's about 4 miles. And what's cool about each fall is you can literally park and just go to the falls. You don't have to hike all 4 miles to access it. But today we're going to take on a challenge and hike it all and, give you our opinion on how difficult it is to how easy it is. But currently we are at lower falls. Okay, so we are still at the lower falls. And as you can see, there's just different outlets of where you can go swimming, take a really beautiful photo of a waterfall, but let's feel this mountain water. Actually feels really good. I think it's maybe 60 degrees or whatever. I would maybe test out swimming once I get to the upper waterfalls when it's a little bit more hot, but right now, Redding is probably about 105, and right now up in McCloud, we're at 90 degrees. So it's a significant cooler climate and something to really enjoy during the summertime. Just float right down. Okay, so we're about a quarter of the way into our hike, and what's cool about this area is you also can camp and then also explore the falls. So there's Fowler's Campground. And so far what we've seen is everything's paved. So you can bring your dog, you could bring your bikes, you could hike, maybe scooters. So I'm excited to see Middle Falls because I hear that is the widest fall, and it's pretty impressive. Okay, so we're about halfway in the middle of Middle Falls right now, and I'll say relatively speaking, Lower Falls was super easy. You parked your car, you literally got out, walked down maybe 20, 25 steps, and you were there. And with Middle Falls, it's, dirt, but it's pretty level, nothing too crazy. And overall, again, you can park at the campground and literally start at the trailhead for Middle Falls to get to the big, wide falls that we're about headed to. I'll be curious how Upper Falls feels, but overall, this is a pretty easy hike. Like I said, you could camp, you could stay here, RV, explore the falls, or just come for a day hike, which we're obviously doing right now. So far, 10 out of 10.
It's already 15 degrees cooler right here.
obviously I made it to Middle Falls. It's a little cold, but this is the most impressive fall. It is 80 feet wide and 50 feet high, and you can go swimming, fishing. It's absolutely stunning.
Apparently you can tell this is a waterfall by the way it is. It's very tall, very wide, and very wet. I don't know what to say. I don't have the dialogue in my head. I just take it in.
Are you cold?
My feet are freezing. Look at my feet. Ice cubes. I don't know. People are swimming in this. I don't know how they're doing it.
Okay, so we just finished with Middle Falls. It's a little bit of a climb up to get up to here. We still have to go maybe about another half to quarter of a mile to actually get to Upper Falls. You can see Middle Falls down here. We did lose a few things. You lost our mic, so if the audio isn't super great, it's because we dropped our mic in the waterfall. I dropped my phone and my sunglasses in the waterfall, but we survived those two items, and we're gonna trek on to Upper Falls. So on the Upper Falls, right before you get to the Vista Point lookout spot, there's going to be kind of this trail down here. And this is how you get down to the Upper Falls swimming hole. If not, and you don't want to go swimming like us, you can keep going and make it to the Vista lookout point. So as we're hiking, I thought I'd give you some insight on McCloud as a whole, because for those of you watching, it might be a really new place for you. You've never heard of it, or you just have thought about visiting, but just don't know too much about it. So there's definitely kind of like three mountain areas. There's Dunsmuir, which is a smaller town. There's McCloud, and then there's Mount Shasta. And Mount Shasta is kind of like our main mountain town. So that's where people go skiing and snowboarding during the winter time. And then McCloud and Dunsmuir are kind of like our smaller mountain towns. So for this video purpose, McCloud population, sorry, walking and talking at the same time, it's fun. So for this video purpose, talking on McCloud has a population of a little under 1,000 people. It was mainly known back in the 1800s as a sawmill lumber yard, and the original sawmill closed down in 1979, and then it was reopened by a different company, and that finally closed down in 2003. So once the sawmill and lumber yard closed, there really wasn't much going on for the town. So that's where the population decreased. And a lot of people left because of work. So what we see now is a lot of old-time residents here still occupying McCloud. There is kind of this sense of a little bit of tourism just because the nature and the trails and the waterfalls and everything that McCloud has to offer really gives, something unique and special. Now, if you're curious about the housing here, about average prices are anywhere between $350, $375. You'll see a lot of people purchase in McCloud for that mountain home because it's a lot cheaper than Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta is much more expensive. But if somebody's looking for a second home or just something, that 1920s, charming character, you're definitely going to find it here in McCloud. All right, that wraps up our hike. We lost one mic. We kept our phones and sunnies, and now we're going to go find some food. How would you rate this hike, Dylan?
It was awesome. It was not hard, and it was really pretty. And
we probably will definitely do it again. Yeah. I will say, too, besides hiking shoes, definitely bring some water shoes so you can explore the waterfalls a lot better than we probably were able to. As you can can tell, McCloud has so much charm, character, and even history. For example, the Stony Brook Inn right behind us here on the main street was constructed in 1922 for the mill workers at the lumber company, and then it was converted in 1960 as basically a hotel, and it's still operating today as a bed and breakfast. You got the McCloud Hotel, you have another bed and breakfast around the corner, and then another cool part is that there is a McCloud golf course, which is one of the oldest golf courses in California. The 9-hole, I have yet to play it, but I hear it's fantastic. So between the charm, the history, the character, McCloud just has a place where you can take a deep breath, slow down life a little bit, and experience a little bit of cooler climate and some history all at your fingertips. We've obviously hiked about 4 miles with the McCloud Falls, which I highly recommend, but we're a bit hungry, so we're gonna go check out Tavern, which is a great little local restaurant here, and we're gonna get our drinks and our food and fuel up after a long hike, so let's go. Okay, so I got the pecan crusted salmon and Dylan got the ribeye. Comes with a baked potato, salad. And then we tried 2 drinks, one being the Hot Sunset Summer, which is kind of more of like a spicy tequila. It's really, really good. Has like a tahini salt rim. And then we tried the watermelon mint kiss, a little bit more refreshing, a little bit on the sweeter side. And equally, really, really good. So cheers. I could not wait to film this, so I already started and it's really, really good. The salmon has like a lemon caper sauce and y'all, it is super good. If Dylan wasn't filming, he would also equally say that his ribeye is super, super good. So if you're thinking about coming to McCloud and looking for a great place to eat, brought some drinks, I highly recommend Tavern Grill. It's phenomenal. So if you're looking for a little place to get away for the weekend, or maybe just an escape for the day out of Redding for a little bit of a cooler climate, I hope this episode of Rooted in Redding highlighting McCloud, California was super helpful. I love coming up here, and I hope what I was able to share just between the trails, the charm, the character, the historical parts of this area, as well as Tavern, which is a great restaurant, was helpful in maybe getting you out of Redding and experiencing something a little bit different. Thanks again for tuning into this week's episode of Rooted in Redding. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment below, have you ever made it to McCloud, and subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you next week on Rooted in Redding.